Okay, you can go ahead, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Campo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of staff and members of council. Welcome to the June 21st Committee of Adjustment meeting. Can I get someone to call the meeting to order? Moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by Councillor Jaworski. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, approval of the minutes of June 7th meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, moving on to item number 5, A1521 McEwen, Miss Haley.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Are you able to see my screen? Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
I cannot hear you.
Thank you.
I can
Good
see
evening,
it.
everyone. My name is Joanne Haley, and I welcome you to our Committee of Adjustment meeting this
Can't hear you, Joanne.
We have 2 items on the agenda.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I can't.
Yeah.
You're very faint. We can hear you, but you're very quiet.
Oh,
Not normal.
let me see if I can change my volume. Just a second, please.
No. It's strange because I hear Joanne very clearly.
Do you? My
Good.
volume's to the top.
Is that any better?
It's very faint, but I'll listen close.
Okay. So for members of the public that are participating by Zoom or by phone, you will be permitted to speak to the respective application following my presentation. Prior to speaking, please state your name and address for the record. To make a comment, please use the raise hand function and the chair will call on you. And if you've registered to participate in the meeting by phone to speak to a particular application, you will be asked if you would like to comment on the application after the applicable presentation. I now have required reading to be read as per the Ontario Planning Act. Any person may attend this hearing and or make written or verbal representation either in support of or in opposition to the proposed minor variance. If a person or public body does not make oral or written submissions at this hearing before the minor variance is decided upon, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the minor variance of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal, also known as OLT. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a hearing or make written submissions to the Committee of Adjustment or the Township of South Glengarry before the minor variance is decided upon, this person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the OLT unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So our first application this evening is known as A1521. This property is located at part of Lot 10, registered plan number 176, in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in South Glengarry, and is located at Farlinger Point subdivision. And this is a key map of where the property is located. This is the property here that's highlighted in blue. You can see this is County Road 2. We're just east of Boundary Road in this location. This is a photo of the front of the property, and there's lots of trees in the front yard, so you can't see it very well. But this is what the property looks like as it's currently under construction. So I'm just going to provide some background information as the committee might see this property being very familiar to them. The applicant applied for and received approval for a minor variance to reduce the watercourse setback from 30 years to construct a single detached dwelling, including a deck. And this was approved on November 16th, 2020. A building permit was issued.
Ms. Haley, I'm sorry to interrupt. Am I the only one who's getting feedback every so often? Or I mean, maybe I wouldn't call it feedback. I'd call it static. So I don't know if there's a microphone that's open that's causing that, but
I was getting it as well.
Not too sure. I'll mute. Well, everybody will mute. I'll mute, and maybe it's feedback from me, but I didn't have any complaints earlier today.
Okay, so a building permit was issued for this project. However, at a recent inspection, it was noted that the deck under construction did not conform to the approved minor variance and approved permit. This was the image that was provided to us for the previous minor variance application that showed the proposed dwelling and the 15-meter water course setback. So now we move forward to the reason for tonight's meeting. The applicant is currently constructing the deck within the approved reduced 15-meter water course setback. Therefore, the following relief is requested: to further reduce the water course setback from 30 meters to 10.6 meters to the northwest corner of the deck and 10.8 meters to the southwest corner of the deck. And this is an image that was recently provided to us from the applicant surveyor that now shows the new configuration of the deck with the new setback with the proposed 10.6 and 10.8 meter setback. The property is designated residential district in the county official plan and is in the urban settlement area of Glen Walter. This application conforms to the general intent of the official plan. The property is zoned residential 1 and conforms to the general intent of the zoning bylaw. The application was circulated to applicable municipal staff. Planning cannot support this application as the proposed deck will be located closer than 15 meters to the water course setback. And as you are aware, our zoning bylaw says must be 30 meters but can be reduced to 15. Also, updated drawings will be provided to the building department. The RSCA was circulated on this application and they have no concerns with the application, and I've received no public comments to date. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haley. Are there any questions of committee members? Councillor Jaworski.
thank you through you, Chair. Ms. Haley, so I note, if I understand correctly, the RRCA has no issue with this application, but and I know you can't necessarily speak for them, but I'm a little confused as I feel like in the past there's, you know, when the deck is within that 15 meter, like closer than the 15 meters, that there or another type of structure that's been a concern. So do you have any clarity on why they're okay with it in this situation?
I honestly could not speak to that or speak for them. I'm sorry. We'll just have to rely on their comments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions of the committee? Okay, I'm just going to go to the public participants to see if anybody has their hand up. Go ahead and state your name and your address for the record.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, my name is Jacqueline. I live in Summerstown Station, of course, not close to where this building.
Jacqueline, would you mind giving your address for the record, yes, please?
I'm in Summerstown Station, 19166 Hay Road.
Thank you.
Okay. Certainly I have great reservations about letting the setback go under the 15 meters. I think it's about time that all the counties close to the waterfront had a little more respect and consideration for our wildlife. And this really, in my opinion, intrudes on our wildlife and our water health. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. McEwen has his hand up. Go ahead, Mr. McEwen. Yes.
My name is Jim McEwen from 18120 Farlingers Point. So I'm the applicant, and first of all, I wanted to apologize to the committee. I honestly thought I was in compliance. I was mistakenly believed that the structure was considered if it was a covered deck, not knowing that the actual deck itself. So once I got the 15-meter setback, we were construction. So I moved the deck out, not realizing I wouldn't be in compliance. And I mean, I knew that the building inspector, Chris, would be around, and he came one day and he said, well, you know you're not in compliance. I said, well, gee, why not? And so I spoke to Mrs. Haley and they explained why. So I apologize. I wasn't trying to circumvent the rules. I'm a little embarrassed about it. One of the reasons, I guess, I've had a cottage there for most of my life, and you know, my existing cottage is right beside, and that deck extends out even closer. And then I noticed the countless examples along the river. So, you know, I wasn't trying to circumvent any rules. I honestly thought I was in compliance. So I just wanted to state that and apologize for the situation.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Are there any questions of the committee? Councillor McDonnell?
Not a question at this point, Mr. Chair. Just, I guess if that's all the questions from the public, I'd be willing to move to approve as presented, unless there is another question. I see Councillor Jaworski has her hand up.
Councillor Jaworski?
Chair. Probably a comment and a question. So, I mean, I generally try to follow what the RCA is recommending, as seeing them as the experts on protecting the water course and enforcing the natural hazards. And in this case, they are supportive of it. But I don't know if maybe the applicant, I don't know if I misheard what he was saying, but or maybe Ms. Haley can clarify. How does this house and deck compare to what would have been on the property previously? In terms of
Mr. McEwen, would you be able to answer that?
Sure. It's been zoned residential for several years, but I've had a cottage there forever. And now we're just tearing down the old cottage and building a residence with the front deck attached. And I think one of the reasons is that perhaps the Raisin River wasn't concerned. And I did send them an email back in March asking if there were any rules I should be aware of. They didn't respond. I think part of the issue is the elevation is quite high off the river. So it's like the height of the bank is probably 10 feet above the river. So I imagine that's why, well, I can't speak to them, but anyways, the elevation is quite high off the river.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
for that information.
Okay, thank you very much. So Councillor McDonnell had moved a motion to approve as presented. Is there a seconder? Second by Councillor Lang. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 6, A1621, Seguin, Ms. Haley.
Okay, are you able to see my screen? Thank you. So this application is A1621, and the subject property is located at part of Lot 14, Concession 2, front in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in South Glengarry, and also known as 6286 County Road 27. This is a key map of where the property is located. I'll try and orient you here, where this is the exit off of the 401, the railway tracks, and then this little hamlet is known as Somerset. And then this is an image of the existing dwelling and the new shed that we'll be speaking about this evening. So the purpose of the minor variance is the applicant purchased and located a prefabricated shed onto the subject property that is 29 square meters. Sorry, I can't see with my screen. That 29 square meters in size, or 12 by 26, and the following relief of the zoning bylaw is requested: to reduce the front yard setback from 6 meters to 4.46 meters to the northeast corner of the shed, and to 4.43 meters to the southeast corner of the shed. And we were made aware of this by a public member filing a complaint about the shed being located onto this property. So at that time, we worked with the property owner as well as the United Counties. And the United Counties, so I'm just going to step back here for a second. The property is designated rural settlement area in the county official plan, and it does conform to the general intent of the official plan. And the property is zoned residential 1 and conforms to the general intent of the zoning bylaw. And the application was circulated to applicable municipal staff. Planning and building have no concerns. And the United Counties support this application. In fact, they've already issued a setback permit for the shed and have no concerns. And I received no public comments to date. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Haley. Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Yeah, looking at the shed, the house is closer to the road than the shed, and numerous buildings along that stretch of the settlement are that close to the road, so I don't see a problem with it.
Okay. All right, not a problem. Councillor McDonnell.
I'll go ahead and agree with Councillor Lang. I don't see any issue either. I mean, like he said, along that stretch, there's a lot closer to the road than we've had to deal with. So, no.
Okay, Councillor Jaworski.
Thank you through you, Chair. Ms. Haley, I just wanted to confirm I heard you correctly. You said there was no public comments on this?
No, I've not received anything formal at all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that being said, is there a mover to approve as presented? Okay, moved by Councillor McDonnell and seconded by Councillor Jaworski. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item number 7, next meeting, July 5th, time to be determined. Ms. Haley, do we have any applications at this time?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair, and it's possible that we actually might not get one. I was thinking we would have at least one, but I do need that application to be filed by tomorrow. So it might be possible that that'll be at our July, I believe, 19th meeting. But I will confirm that with the committee as we by Wednesday of this week.
Okay, perfect. So that being said, motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by Councillor Jaworski. All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned at 5:47 p.m. and this is the same link for our next meeting in 12 minutes. So stay tuned.